I don't think he's stuck enough, Holmes. I don't think he's got enough heart.
This is RamView.
It's hot out there, but let's roll off the last screen. Hold on, okay.
Live from the RamCave, I'm Joe Tarosian, and this is RamView, the October 11th, 2025 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in auto accident, need help, got questions? Call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues, get yourself some John and Henry at Temple City Auto Repair.com. All right, we're about 4 days behind. My last broadcast, I think, was Monday morning, I believe it was. And so, yeah, we've missed a few. I had a funeral yesterday, so I apologize. So I'm coming to the party late. You guys have all formed your opinions. And word has got out there. We saw the trades. We saw Flacco go from the Browns to the Bengals, and we've seen other moves. And we saw Thursday night's game, and which surprised everybody. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll break down this Ram Raven game, which is a little weird going into it, but we'll break it down here in a second. My first thought about the Rams, though, guys, as I come to you on a Saturday morning, I wish I was here a little earlier. But, you know, you're gone for a week. You also have the honeydew list. So, anyway, we're here. But my first thought when I look at this Ram game, Rams should win, right? Okay, we know that. Rams should have won every game on paper they've played this far, except for maybe the Philly game. But how they played that game in the first half, they should have won that game too. So, what we're dealing with is a team that one of you brought up that I said it's a team that needs to mature, but they've played, 3 playoff games in the last 2 years on the road, and they've played competitively. You know, why do they need to grow up? But it's true. But they need to regain some focus. What I want to see against the Ravens is I don't want to see any celebration. Honestly, I don't want – I tell you, I'm going to go so south on Kyren Williams if I see him high-stepping into the end zone. And I think – and again, teammates won't do it because teammates are largely the same way. I'm the guy that's not forgiving your teammate 5 if he misses a free throw. If he misses a free throw, blank him. No way. He doesn't get 5 for missing from the foul line. And the guy fumbles at the goal line. I'm not talking to him that night, or I'm going to tell him, dude, you took bread out of our mouth, right? You money was on the table and you left it there for us. And I know he wasn't high-stepping into the end zone when he fumbled at the goal line, but I want to focus. So I don't want to see Kyren high-stepping. I don't want to see too much conducting by the conductor when they get a sack. I don't want to see Jared Verse launching into the end zone from a 5 on a scoop and score. I want to see a team that is so angry at itself that no one else wants to be around them. I don't want loose. I want uptight. I want mad. I got my pants pulled down in front of all of my enemies, and they all laughed at me, right? I probably should have downloaded the scene from the original Carrie, where the mom says they're all going to laugh at you. And that's true, right? They're all going to laugh at you. They all laughed at the Rams, and they should have been laughed at. So I just want to see a business-like approach. I just want to see them go out there and do what they're supposed to do. I don't want to see any celebrating because right now, this was a game that was marked to be a tough one. Right now, on most of our ledgers, we had kind of given away the Eagle game when we were looking at Rams wins, okay, Rams losses coming into this season. And we penciled in a loss at Philly, but we didn't pencil in giving away a loss at Philly. Even without all the injuries, the Rams have beat the 49ers with Brock Purdy, right? And Bosa and all those guys. They beaten the 49ers when they were shorthanded, like they did last year in the week 3. Rams still should have beat the 49ers if all those guys were on the field. So they were humiliated. And this Baltimore game, with everyone healthy, Baltimore supposedly in their Super Bowl window, and I agreed with it, this was a game that was kind of up in the air. This was a game you didn't naturally pencil in. But here's the other thing. The Jaguars are 4-1 right now. And the Jaguars keep finding ways to win. And Rams keep finding ways to keep teams in games and giveaway games. So grow up, mature, to start being all about business. I had a guy named Cigar Mike I used to play basketball with. He said, man, when you got your foot on their throat, don't let up. And a lot of truth there. And the Rams need to kind of clean up their act in that regard. All right, got a couple of you guys here with me. Joe T and the Bruins. Hey, you're probably watching that. Is that on already, the Bruin game? But heck of a win against Penn State, Steve. I do have a UCLA cap my daughter bought me while she was there. I felt like putting it on. I just didn't want to mess up my hair. But they earned it. All Bruin talk is good right now. But all right, let's get into this. Offensively, this game's not a contest. They lost Matabuke, their best interior lineman for the year. I believe it's a neck injury, and he had just had a contract year last year, so they signed him. And so Kyle Hamilton is banged up. He's supposed to play. They just had all sorts of issues. Marlon Humphreys has had some issues. They've had issues everywhere defensively with this Raven team, to the point where Jay Kummel is going to be getting some significant defensive snaps. And we know Jay Kummel is a younger version of Troy Reeder. Good, solid player. You just want him in small sets. So offensively, I think the Rams are going to do what the Rams are going to do. I could see the Rams scoring 28 points, right? Let's just pretend the interior of the kicking teams can keep people from breaking in, and we convert all of our point afters. To this point, I am not out on Josh Carty. I think if you're on his case about that one kick to start overtime, I don't think you're really hip. I don't. I think you're completely missing the point. He missed a 53-yarder. I think that's been his only actual miss this year. The rest have been blocked. That's where you bring in Chase Blackburn and you call him on the carpet. Right now, I'm not ready to cancel Josh Carty. I am ready to cancel the special teams guy, or I'm ready to just cut somebody in a decimation process to let them know that their job is on the line, because it's ridiculous. So the Rams offensively, I'm going to give them 28 points. I think they should score on this team. Is it going to be enough? Comes out with the game plan, right? Well, what game plan are they going to come out with? Is it going to be enough? It should be enough. Number 2, will Avila start ahead of Justin Diedick, right? Again, if we go into this game, and I think Diedick's number 67, and you see Diedick at left guard, Rams have an issue there. And Avila has no future here, right? So something to think about right there, because Avila, I did see on a couple of depth charts that he is listed as starting this week. So we'll see. And then we'll see if he limps off the field with some other injury. Kid's got to get back into a groove before he gets my good graces. And then defensively, getting back, let's stay on the offensive line. Rob Havenstein is listed as doubtful, but it may seem weird to say. Omar Spates is listed as doubtful as well, but I think Spates missing is probably a bigger deal. Havenstein has Warren McClendon backing up. McClendon's not, he's not Jackie Slater, but McClendon gives the Rams what they need. He gave it to them what they needed against the 49ers, and he gave them what they needed. He'll give them what they need against the Ravens. Ravens pass rush is not explosive. And you could buy another week for Havenstein, but Havenstein in his 11th season has had 2 weeks rest on an ankle that, he played the entire game in week 4. And so I am curious about the condition of that ankle right now. And then I'm going out there again with an offensive line. Even though the Ravens are decimated, I'm going out there with an offensive line of a 5th rounder at right tackle, who's technically not proven, but we're okay with. Coleman Shelton at center, an undrafted free agent at left guard, right? And then we're good with Dotson and Alaric Jackson, especially to this point in the season. They both have been pretty solid. So that part still makes me a little bit queasy, because I want to see the best players out there. Obviously, I think we all do. And then Omar Spates. Omar Spates is a bigger deal, because no Spates means Dolak or a washed Reeder, right? Rookie Dolak or a washed Reeder. We know what we're getting in Reeder, right? The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. With Dolak, the flesh is strong, but the spirit isn't wise enough just yet. So that one to me is a little bit bigger of an issue Omar Spates being out because I think Spates has played well. All right, let's keep on pumping away here. Steeler fan Rob, you better not lose to the Ratbirds without Lamar. We are all going to laugh at you. Bro, there's nothing you could say, Steeler fan Rob. Nothing you, well, because first know this, we're going to come at you full throttle when the Steelers crash and burn. But any insults you want to throw at the Rams for these last 2 weeks, knock yourself out, because I can say it, my team deserves them all. Deserves every bit of it. We lost to Mac Jones. Now, I don't think Mac Jones is horrible, but we lost to Mac Jones throwing to Kendrick Bourne. In the franchise, playing the franchise that's known for R.C. Owens, Gene Washington, Dwight Clark, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Terrell Owens, all those guys, we lost to Kendrick Bourne. So Steeler fan Rob, you have full permission to bag on the Rams and laugh at them all you want. Because while I don't think they should lose to your Ratbirds, all things are possible with the Rams, right? Steve, I walked away impressed with Drew Aller last week. Wow, really, Steve? A lot of people have kind of bailed on him. The names I'm only hearing now are Mendoza and Moore. Okay, I'll take your opinion on that one. Brian Smith, Niners are starting their third-string quarterback tomorrow. Mac Jones, is it starting tomorrow? Who's starting? Is it Adrian Martinez? I saw where Purdy was out, but Mac Jones is out? Oh, my. Oh, my. Let's keep rolling there. And the more, speaking of that Frisco loss, the more I look at the Frisco loss and looking past the special teams, which cost the Rams the game, and looking past Kyron's ball protection issues, what cost the Rams the game, I am leaning more to Chris Shula having the wrong game plan and not adjusting, right? That soft coverage was pure Raheem Morris 2022. They gave away everything when there was no threat of going over the top. The back porch of the Rams is pretty good with the safeties. And they should have forced the 49ers to beat them over the top. Instead, they got nickeled and dimed to death. I mean, if you look at, his yards per attempt for his 49 attempts by Mac Jones, it's embarrassing. And there was just this inability to come off it. I understand. I was happy with the Rams cornerback room coming into the season, and everyone's trying to promote Ahkello Witherspoon like he's the biggest shutdown corner. No, Ahkello Witherspoon is Ahkello Witherspoon. Plays, gets hurt. You'll never get a full season out of Ahkello Witherspoon. He's good when he's in there. But Ahkello Witherspoon has nothing to do with Darius Williams suddenly looking old, Emmanuel Forbes not playing to where I think they thought he was going to play at, and Kobe Durant in a contract year not standing out, right? But with all that said, they should have been put on the spot and forced the 49ers to beat them over the top, and they didn't. So it should have been a little more press, guys does press anyway, to force another half second for Mac Jones or a full second of processing by Mac Jones. And I think the game would have been different last week. So, out of the emotion of it, I'm leaning more Chris Shula at the base there. And we love Chris Shula. But, that lack of adjustment when you saw what they were doing, I think they knew what they were going to do. But you're really worried about Kendrick Bourne beating you over the top. You're really worried about Mac Jones having time to wait for a receiver to go downfield. Yeah, I would have risked the big play by the 49ers and put more pressure on Mac Jones. So big deal there. But still, with all that said, the cornerbacks have to play better. And that brings us to Cooper Rush, possibly replacing Lamar Jackson. He's not going to be 100% if he plays, right? So likely it'll be Cooper Rush. And Cooper Rush, I think he's poor man's Mac Jones. He's played well when he was in Dallas. Doesn't have the receivers he had in Dallas. He does have Derrick Henry. And that's what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be heavy doses of Derrick Henry tomorrow. And Derrick Henry has not been up to snuff. And the Rams have fared well against Barkley, Taylor, McCaffrey. They fared well against solid running backs. King Henry is more like Duke Henry these days. So, take away the short stuff from Cooper Rush, let the pass rush do its thing. And I think the Rams are going to be okay. They should be, right? But we also know the Rams find a way, right? All things are possible with the Rams. All things are possible with the Lord, and all things are possible with the Rams when they should be crushing these teams. So there we go from there. Let's see, guys. We're 15 minutes in. All right, cool. We'll just keep on plugging away here. Let's look at the schedule worker around the NFL and other places. Thursday night, October 9th, the Eagles went to the Giants. I had the Eagles. I think pretty much everybody did. That 34-17 victory, how do we say that? I thought it was impressive to the Giants. I'm not a Kayvon Thibodeau fan. Did you see Kayvon Thibodeau? He held the line well. Brian Burns had a big night. And of course, Jackson Dart. But I figured the Eagles would have an implosion this year. I think we've been saying it here. I thought it would have been a little bit later. I didn't think it would be in, was it East Rutherford? Is it still East Rutherford? Is it the Meadowlands? Whatever the stadium is, wherever they're at. I didn't think it would be Thursday night. They didn't score in the second half, right? I understand their defense having some struggles because there's injuries, right? Injuries in the cornerback room, Jalen Carter. There's injuries. Totally get that. Nolan Smith is out. But I thought their offense would be better. And Jalen Hurts got totally exposed. And so, missing receivers. We told you, Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. And missing his receivers there, get him off his first read. There's issues. Regarding the tush push, I don't have a problem with the tush push, but if you're going to let them run the tush push, you better put the camera overhead and start calling, make it a thing. We do it on the fly. Say, you know what, you're going to line up in the tush push. They can't stop you, but if you have movement, Steen, their right guard, gets away with murder every week, then you start throwing flags on the jump the offensive linemen are getting. And honestly, again, I don't care. Jump the snap. You're at the 1 foot line. Jump the snap. Hurt the center, right? Jump the snap. Get a blast and a shot in on those interior linemen. You know they're going to score, but make them pay for it. So, I don't like the whining about the tush push. But great win for the Giants. Jackson Dart. Yeah, Jackson Dart looked like the dude. I hope he stays healthy. I'm trying to remember, and I'll take correction. I didn't see as many designed runs for Jackson Dart as most of him just doing improv. And I don't have a problem with the quarterback running if they're making plays. I do have a problem with designed runs happening too often. Anyway, and I thought the Eagles went to that too soon. Okay, Broncos at Ravens tomorrow morning. Broncos at Jets. We're going Broncos, right? There's no question issue here at all. We're going Broncos. And the thing is that I think you can give the Jets a little bit of a, how would you say it? A little bit of grace here. When Dan Campbell got to Detroit, he did at least have Jared Goff, right? And right now, Justin Fields is not a starting NFL quarterback, and so yeah, I think the Jets are going to have. Remember, I think what were the Lions in Dan Campbell's first year? 3-12-1 or something like that, or 3-13-1, something. Give them some grace, and they'll get it figured out. But right now, it's the Broncos. Rams, Ravens. I like the Rams 28, Ravens 14. There you go. Cowboys 2-1 at the Panthers. Panthers found themselves a little bit, but they found themselves against the Dolphins. They're at home again. I'm not picking against the Cowboys. That is the feel-good story of the year. I would say Brian Schottenheimer would be a better choice for coach of the year at this point than Kyle Shanahan. But I think people love the Shanahan name. Cardinals 2-3 at the Colts. I think the Colts are going to pummel them. I think Jonathan Gannon, it's going to be interesting to see if he lost the team after that sideline incident. So I like Jonathan Gannon. He was giving the Cardinals some attitude. And that was a game they should have won. Absolutely. And that running back, DeMarcado, should face all the wrath, but you can't necessarily put your hands on a player. Not anymore. Seahawks at Jaguars. Jaguars keep finding a way. They just do. I'm anxious to see how this game turns out. I think it's really close, but I'm going to go Jaguars at home. Chargers at Dolphins. I think it's time for the Chargers to straighten up. I think they will. I think the Dolphins are a team that's reeling. So I'm taking Chargers. Patriots at the Saints. I'm going Patriots. I think the Saints got their big win last week. They're not going to get one against Mike Vrabel. Browns at Steelers. I'm not a big Steeler believer, but Steelers need to beat the Browns. You can't lose to the Browns. I don't think they're going to lose to the Browns. Titans at Raiders. Pete Carroll. If Geno Smith struggles against the Titans, I'm telling you, it's time to go to Kenny Pickett, man. It might already be time to go to Kenny Pickett, but you can't screw around. You got to beat the Titans. Remember, the Titans' win was against the Cardinals, who collapsed at home. So Raiders, you got to be better. I know you're going to be better. So I'm going Raiders in that one. Bengals at Packers. Packers are 2-1. We're going to take the Packers in that one. And then 49ers at Buccaneers. Going Buccaneers in this one. Unless there's some kind of hangover, letdown, injury. Now I'm going Buccaneers in this one. I'm gonna say Buccaneers by a couple touchdowns. I think the 49ers are cruising for a bruising. They got their emotional victory against the Rams. I don't think they can stay that focused for 2 weeks. And the 49ers and the Buccaneers, Todd Bowles and them, they're learning from the Rams' mistakes. So I like the Buccaneers by a couple of touchdowns. Sunday night game, Lions at Chiefs. Of course, we got to go with the Lions in this one, leaning towards them. 4-1 against the 2-3 Chiefs. And then right after everyone was saying the Chiefs were back, Chiefs aren't back, and then they're going to fall to 2-4, and everyone's going to be, screaming the Jeremiahs. And then, of course, the NFL, with a whole series of bad choices, from Bad Bunny to doubleheaders on Monday night that aren't separated by 3 hours. Preposterous. Bills at Falcons at 4:15, and we're going to take the Bills in that one because we want the Bills in that one. And then at 5:15, Bears at Texans. 2 Eastern games on Monday night. Who's the idiot, right? Who's the brain dead? What would the DI say? Who's the brain dead, twinkle toes, pinko, commie guy who just signed his own death warrant? Who's the guy that schedules 2 Eastern games on Monday? So you have to bounce back and forth. And of course, ESPN has to play Walter Cronkite the whole time and give all this breaking news. So you can't just watch one game and then go to the other. They're going to tell you the outcome of the other game while you're watching the other. So just a ridiculous thing. Bears at Texans. Texans should take down the Bears. So there we go. Got all that in. I know it's Saturday. We're doing college football. Oh, let's see what we got here. Boom, 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 boom. Tribe, Joe, Big Habs is probably out. Is McClendon starting again at right tackle? Yeah, I think he is. And again, this is not the Ravens team that we're used to seeing. They don't have that mad, crazy pass rusher. Plus, they've lost Matabuke. And so I'm okay with Warren McClendon filling in, but Havenstein played all of week 4. And now he's missed 2 full weeks with that ankle. So I am a little serious about that. I am a little curious how that's going to play out in the end. Steve Ramirez, how many years can Scadaboo play being so physical? I don't know. I did catch, was it on the radio? I caught Coward saying that Scadaboo has no comp. Scadaboo has a comp. It's John Riggins. John Riggins was the last bruising white guy fullback type that had breakaway speed, and that's Scadaboo. Now, Riggins was a workout animal, psychopath, all that kind of stuff. We love John Riggins. I don't know if Scadaboo can last that long, but I would ask if I'm Dayball, I'd say, bro, be you, but let's just cut down the backflips and cartwheels in the end zone after touchdowns, right? I would say not everyone's John Riggins, so I would say Scadaboo has 4 years of optimum ball, right? Let's see. Jim Everett the Great. Go Rams. All right. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. The GOAT is in the house. Is that what we're saying, Jim? Is that me? I hope I'm the GOAT. Tribe is cooking Larry Krueger. Okay. Everett warned everyone, Winers starting Martinez. Ooh, okay. There we go. Winers are starting Martinez. Okay. So, yeah, definitely double down on the Bucks. Brian Smith, Bobby Knight beat players all the time. Different era. When I coached church league basketball, I used to, because, of course, I ran the league, but I would throw a chair every game. I would just take a chair, throw it up, not on the floor, but on the stage. And by and large, it got a laugh from everybody. Then a visiting ref teed me up, and everyone started laughing at that. Steve Ramirez, UCLA, just recovered a tuck fumble. Okay. All right. Happy birthday to Brian Allen, former Rams center, starting Rams center on the Super Bowl 56 squad. He turns only 30 today. He's only 30. Could you imagine if his career had not been filled with injuries and he kept developing? That would have been kind of special. Hey, I thought it was kind of close in proximity. So it's interesting. Based on that last Thursday night game, right? Based on the Thursday night game, which was October 2nd. It did remind me of it then. I didn't know it was so close, but on October 11th, on this day, 49 years ago, was a Monday night game. It was blacked out. Jim Plunkett and the Gold Rush 49ers came to LA and they beat the Rams 16-0. James Harris was sacked 10 times in that game and got banged up pretty good. That affected him for the rest of the year. But at 10 sacks by the Gold Rush. What was that? Cleveland Elam, Jimmy Webb, Cedric Hardman, and Tommy Hart. Yeah, remember the Gold Rush? It only lasted for so long. Monty Clark was the head coach. But it was awful because, of course, Monday Night Football was blacked out, and we had to listen to it on the radio. But it was an awful game to listen to. Awful. And then on this date in 1981, Rams beat the Falcons 37-35. Jeff Rutledge threw 2 touchdown passes. Rams came back. Leroy Irvin had 2 punt returns for touchdowns. I think he had 207 return yards. I remember I saw this game with Steeler fan Rob back in the day, and he was whining, "Oh, the Rams aren't going to have any luck. And then he started crying, "The Rams aren't going to have any more luck." And Rutledge came in, played pretty well. Also on this day in 1987, the Rams beat the Steelers 31-21. There we go. We got it all in. Went about 30 minutes today. I do apologize. We're back into a regular groove next week. All right, let's see. Bill, what is the Rams' game plan with the inclement weather predicted for Baltimore tomorrow? High winds, precipitation. Do Rams go for 2-point conversions? I don't know about the 2-point conversions, but the Rams do have the ability. They do have the ability to grind the ball. On it, my feeling is you're going to be able to grind the ball against this Ravens team. So you'll be able to pick your spots. And Stafford is an all-weather quarterback. So that part doesn't work me up like it used to. What works me up is ball security. I was so angry after last week, and I still am, that if we're going to pound the ball, I want to see Jarquez Hunter get some touches, take some touches away from Corum and Kyron Williams. Let's find out what Jarquez Hunter could play against what is a soft front zone there, a front D for the Ravens. So I'm not worried about the weather. The 2-point conversions I didn't think about, but I think they just have to. I think they got to settle they got to get the snaps out there. They got to execute in terms of blocking along the front. I don't think the issue right now is Cardi's leg or Cardi's foot. The issue right now is block up front. Let's find out if they can block up front. Steve Ramirez, I remember that game when the 49ers lost 6 out of their last 8 or so with the Rams winning the division. Yeah, a couple weeks later, the Rams went up to Frisco in 76. I think Bill Simpson blocked a punt, and the Rams got it was a 22-3 win, 22-10 win, something like that, and they secured the division. Bill, due to the weather, should the Rams use a 3-back row? Oh, there you go. We just talked to each other there. With the wind, it's going to be hard to pass. I think Stafford, again, is all weather, and I think he'll acclimate to that. But I like the idea of pounding the ball, and I like the idea of making Corum. Wouldn't it be marvelous if they played Jarquez Hunter and he got 10 or 12 snaps and he broke off some big runs? Let's have the fantasy that he also blocks in protection. But just to wake up Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, say, you know what, bro, your jobs. Come on, man. What are you doing? right? What are you doing? Bill, with the bad weather, are you worried about Kyron Williams fumbling the ball? Yeah, I am now. I mean, if you can't secure it going across the goal line, I am now. And I was wrong. And I said at the beginning of the year, I said I didn't think Kyron Williams fumbling would be an issue this season, that as a hardworking blue-collar guy out of Notre Dame, that was something he's going to tighten that up. And I don't put the fumble against the Colts. That was just a whole confluence of things. I don't put that one on Kyron. But I definitely, when you're crossing the 1 yard line and you're ready going for a score to win the game against your division rivals, and that ball gets punched out, it's all on you, man. It's all on you. Again, less high stepping, more ball security, and that will remedy a lot of issues there. All right, cool. We're at the 30-minute mark. Thanks, guys, for joining me. I do appreciate that. I forego the commercial today, but be sure to check out Kistler Law, because they're the ones that keep us on the air, my fantasy championship ring. But be sure to check out Kistler Law, and of course, my books are on Amazon. All right, guys, God bless. Take care. Go Rams, and we will do a post game. I will be on delay, but I will be doing a post game. All right, God bless.